Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the last lesson in Mama CEO Summer School. Today, we're tackling a tough topic: how to get the people who you love the most to support your business. Whether we're talking about your spouse, your parents, or even good friends, sometimes it's hard to get the people whose opinions we care about to understand what we're trying to do in our careers. And that lack of support can feel frustrating and sometimes hurtful. Today, we're going to be talking mostly about male partners, but believe me, this works if you have a female partner or you need to talk to your parents or even your best girlfriends. Anyone that you need to talk to about having a slightly less traditional job or maybe just explaining what you're trying to do in yours. Although my husband and I have come a long way in the 4+ years that I've been running my online business, there definitely was a learning curve. We had to figure out different ways that we'd communicate about my business, and I had to learn to see where he was coming from, even if I didn't always agree with it. In preparing for today's summer school lesson, I talked with a lot of female entrepreneurs about what support looks like and doesn't look like in their own homes, and what common threads we could draw between all of the different types of support. I found it boils down to 3 big what ifs that our spouses see as a potential for changing in their lives when we start or grow our businesses. The first what if is, what if our business changes the status quo? So our spouses may see something changing, like going from a traditional job or a steady paycheck that might affect the way money comes into our household. Or perhaps they see the amount of time the business is going to take as taking away time from them, from the family, or from the household routines that you're used to. Changing the status quo can show up again as your business grows. Perhaps you're transitioning from just working during nap times to working a more full-time schedule. Or perhaps your job is requiring you to travel more or have more meetings. The second what if comes along with fear. The entrepreneur in us may know that business involves taking risks, being willing to pivot, or trying something that might not ultimately work. But that can be really hard for those who love us, and they don't want to see us hurt, and they don't want to see us fail. This fear can show up in the form of questions like, can we afford this? Or what will happen to the family roles that we've established? Or even, what if she becomes more successful than me? One business friend explained that her husband was actually jealous of the perceived freedom that he saw in her day being her own boss and setting her own schedule. The third big what if is, what the heck are we doing? One of the things I heard from a lot of the mama CEOs, and I know I have experienced myself, is that our partners, they love us and they support us, but don't really get what we're doing. Many of us are working unconventional jobs or in unconventional ways. It's really easy to wrap your brain around being a second grade teacher, but it may not be as easy to understand what being an online business strategist means. This can be especially stressful if we're not 100% clear on what we're doing yet. The big unknown can be disconcerting for our loved ones. So change and uncertainty can definitely get in the way of support, but it doesn't have to. I also gained a lot of really great insight from women who feel really supported in their relationships and in their role as a business owner. So I wanted to share some of the common things I saw for women that said they did feel supportive, and what can we dissect and glean from their answers. On a side note, everyone I talked to said support comes and goes in waves, gets easier with time, and as both the business and the kids get older. There were also lots of mentions of still being the default parent, but that's another topic for another time. Supportive spouses are most prevalent in 3 situations. First, for better or for worse, money talks. Many people said that their spouse got more on board with their business once their business started making money. It took away some of that uncertainty of what are we doing? Is this going to work? And it moved the business from a hobby to a real true business realm. The second thing women who feel more supported cited is better communication. We can't expect our spouses and loved ones to support us if they don't know what's going on or what we need. Many of these women said that they have regular meetings where they talk about what's going on, what's coming up in the future, money, and how each other can support the other one the best. Finally, women who feel supported very often have husbands who are also entrepreneurs. I've said it before, the entrepreneurial mind just works differently. And if your husband also runs his own business, it's easier for them to understand what goes into running yours. So, what if you're not in one of those situations? Not to fear. We're going to break these down so we can see how they apply to all of us. Step one, be as clear as you can about what you're doing. Don't expect your loved one to just get it. Focus on what you're excited about, what you're going to do, and the money, both now and projections for what will come in. Talk about where you are now and where you want to go. The more clear you can be with your spouse on what you're doing and why, the less it will sound like a hobby and the more it will feel like a real business. Also, the clarity from you will show that you have a plan for the changes that will take place in both time and money. This also means being clear on what your work time looks like. Be very clear on what your work hours and what you will and won't do within those work hours, like laundry. Second, be specific with what you need. More help with the kids, help around the house, or business advice. Be specific, don't be vague. We can't expect our spouses to just give us the support we need. So you need to say, I need you to take the kids for 4 hours on Saturday versus I need you to help with the kids more. And a quick tangent, you might be saying, shouldn't they just know? Shouldn't they know I'm going to need more help with the kids? That may be the case, but what we're looking for in today's lesson is how to get you more support, and sometimes that's going to mean you're just going to have to ask for it. Step number 3, part of communication includes communicating the schedule. Make sure your big business goals and deadlines get on the family calendar. Everyone should know when you're launching something, when you have a big client deadline, or when you have meetings. One friend told me that when she starts to feel resentful, it's because she hasn't asked for help. She can't expect him to be psychic and know that she's launching a huge new project or that she has a huge client deadline coming up. Make sure all those details get on the family calendar or text him to let him know that you have something coming up. All of these points really come down to the communication piece. Be as clear as you can with what's going on and what you need in terms of support. Which brings me to my last and possibly most important point. We all want to talk to our spouses about our businesses, but sometimes they're not the best person. In fact, they're probably never the best person to really go into the nitty-gritty details about what we're doing. It's like talking to your kid-free best friend about parenting. She loves you and cares about you, but she might not understand the exact struggles you're going through, and therefore is not going to give you the best kind of support that you need. This is where a supportive group of mama CEOs really comes into play. I have a group of women that I meet with on a regular basis. We can talk about everything from sales pages to what's going on in our households. It's the exact kind of support I need because it comes from women who are going through the exact same thing I am, in both business and at home. This is exactly why I started the Mama Mastermind. I wanted there to be a group where we could come together and talk about business and talk about household no matter what Mama CEO hat we were wearing that day. Okay, so your action steps for this last Mama CEO school lesson: set a date to talk to your spouse about your business. I've created a one-page business plan that you can download and fill out, and then you'll have all of your important touch points right at your fingertips for that conversation. Second, identify at least one business friend that can be your go-to person when you need to talk about all of the other things that an entrepreneurial mama CEO knows all too well. And then lastly, if you're looking for a group of mama CEOs that will support you with all of the different hats that you wear, plus solid business advice and a plan to get there, then I invite you to join the fall round of the Mama Mastermind. Registration will officially open in a few weeks, but if you know that you're in and you want to join the over 20 women that have already secured a spot in this round's class, then shoot me an email at megan@meganflatt.com and we'll see what we can do about reopening early enrollment just for you. Thank you so much for joining me on these last 4 lessons of Mama CEO Summer School. We're ready for fall. Stay tuned because September is the new January and we're going to be moving right into a whole nother phase of trainings all about getting your business back on track in September. Thanks. Talk to you soon.